Thanks, Somil, and thanks, Gayatri. So this is actually section 2. So this is not the section 2 of the presentation. What I mean to say is this is section 2 of where we go now. And that's the reason I'm rolling up my sleeves, because it's time to get dirty. And time to get your hands dirty, actually. So what relevance has this slide got to do with what we are going to be talking about here? Probably I'll come to that a little later, but I would request all of you to stay with me on this slide for some time while I share a story. Because I think the numbers already Somil and Gayatri have put together, and I don't think, is there anyone here who believes that, the story doesn't exist in, training 30 crore children in schools and making them sports educated? Is there anyone there? I think this is a gathering of all people who are into sports, and I think we all have that consensus and agreement that the story exists. And therefore, I want to tell you a couple of stories which I thought, should be brought out here. So the first story goes like this, So in 1972, there's a weightlifter, if I remember the name correctly, it's from Bulgaria, Popov, I think, who won a silver or a bronze medal. And somebody went up to him and said, look, you don't win a silver or a bronze, but you lose actually a gold medal. And the reply that he gave was, you've never won a bronze, that's why you are saying something like this, right? So that's what we are trying to bring about. Sports education is all about making you realize that it's not just about winning that gold medal. And therefore, the building that we are going to be constructing has to be something different. Everywhere we keep talking about building a pyramid, right? Broad basing, then doing an excellence academy, then bringing something up there, and then on the top, the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg, there'll be those few elite people who will probably go out and win those gold medals. But is that the building we all want to really construct? I think we need to, answer ourselves that, is that the building we are really wanting to construct? And I think I'll ask that question once again, maybe towards the end. So I also wanted to share this incident or this particular story because, as coincidence would have it, I am actually today the bronze medal place speaker. So, so in terms of all the points which we as a group wanted to put together in terms of the story, in terms of the size of the market which exists, the opportunity which exists, which are all in front of you. So what I wanted to do was, I'll share another incident. So have you heard of, this lady called Paula Radcliffe? You all have, right? So I think a couple of my friends, because this is a story which is one of my favorites. And so Paula Radcliffe has won, the London Marathon 3 times, the New York Marathon 3 times, and God knows how many number of other marathons and long distance races, cross country included, she's won, right? Now, in this particular race which was happening, Paula Radcliffe was leading by a good mile, and there is this young, African runner. I think I remember the name as Didiba or something. So she started matching Paula Radcliffe. And towards the 36th, 37th kilometer in that particular marathon, Radcliffe has this, knee problem which starts hurting her. And when that starts happening, she still manages, so Didiba is just running along with her. So she's tried to support Radcliffe to do another couple of kilometers. So they walk, with the shoulder on Didiba's shoulder, she's running. And after that, Paula Radcliffe feels comfortable. She says, you start running, I'll also start running. Both of them start running again. There is a stage where actually, Paula feels at around 39th kilometer or 40th kilometer that she just can't do it. And she says, okay, Didiba, you go ahead, I'm quitting the race. You know what this girl Didiba did? She says, okay, I am hanging in, I stay with you. Let's go and complete the race together. And for another 1 kilometer, they run together hand in hand. And you know what? Then Paula says, I'm feeling good, let's run. And ultimately, Paula goes on to win the race. So here was an opportunity for a young athlete who did not have the name as Paula has to go out and win that marathon and make a name for herself. Yet what she did, she actually supported Paula. And Paula ultimately went on to win that particular race. So what are we talking about? So what we are talking about is that, when we talk about sports education curriculum standard or a framework, it's not just about, creating that passion. It's also about creating compassion. It's also about creating that sense of why sport is important in life in the children that we have. 25 years down the line, these are the kids who are going to shape the nation that we are going to become. So it is very, very important that we bring in that element. And the curriculum standard framework, which the CII's National Committee on Sports has done, and the white paper which has been released or whatever, what we have actually tried to bring out and keep up for discussion for everyone is that this curriculum standard should actually work like the scaffolding is in this building. This scaffolding is the curriculum standard. The building that we are going to be constructing requires this scaffolding, because you can't raise the level of the building, you can't scale it up to the level of 30 crore children if you don't have that curriculum standard. And what we mean by curriculum standard? It is exactly like the scaffolding. It has to be equally placed, it has to look the same everywhere, so that all the people who are going to be the builders, or I would rather use the term labor, which is actually going to build this building, because we are not actually builders, because builders, the connotation is different. So I would say we are all labor in this construction of the building. All of them should be able to get onto the scaffolding equally, whether be it parents, whether be it private organizations who are wanting to give services, or the government. Everybody should be able to come onto this equally, so that the building can be raised. And the excellence part will come, but that will not be at the top of the pyramid. The excellence will be in the heart of this building. It will be in the atrium or the central hall of this building. And that's what we are trying to bring about here. So I think, I would like to leave it and hand it over to Sujit from here, because I think some of the things which we are planning to talk here on the curriculum standards is something which Sujit will take over from here. Thanks.
Thank you, Sudhanshu.